The principles relating to computation of separation pay and back wages are illustrated in a case penned by your bar chair. Dumapis versus Lepanto Consolidated Mining Company. In this case, the Supreme Court noted the illegal dismissal case filed by Moreno, Francisco, and Elmo against Lepanto Consolidated Mining Company. The record showed that the Office of the Labor Arbiter dismissed the complaint for lack of merit. In its decision, dated August 30, 2002, the National Labor Relations Commission reversed the Office of the Labor Arbiter's decision and declared Moreno, Francisco, and Elmo to have been illegally dismissed from employment on September 22, 2000. The Commission awarded them separation pay and back wages. The Court of Appeals affirmed the decision of the Commission through its decision dated November 7, 2003. The Supreme Court likewise affirmed the same. The decision of the Supreme Court became final and executory on November 25, 2008. Following the finality of the Supreme Court decision, the Office of the Labor Arbiter issued the corresponding writ of execution in the total amount of 897,412 pesos and 95 centavos, covering the back wages and separation pay of Moreno, Francisco, and Elmo. Acting on their motion, praying the recomputation of this award, the Labor Arbiter granted the same through an order dated May 27, 2009, which increased the award to 2,602,856 pesos and 21 centavos. Lepanto moved to quash the writ of execution, insisting that the computation should be reckoned from the date of dismissal up until the Commission rendered its decision dated August 30, 2002. Moreno, Francisco, and Elmo soon moved for another recomputation of the monetary award to include the salary increases allegedly granted them per the Collective Bargaining Agreement or CBA between Lepanto and its employees. In its order dated September 2, 2009, the Office of the Labor Arbiter recalled its order dated May 27, 2009 and further recomputed the award of back wages and separation pay to include the incremental salary increases pursuant to the CBA, but only until November 7, 2003, or the date when the Court of Appeals issued its decision. Moreno, Francisco, and Elmo assailed the order and asserted that the cut-off date for the computation of the award was November 25, 2008, when the Supreme Court's decision became final and executory. Lepanto likewise assailed the order and asserted that the cut-off date for the computation of the award was November 7, 2003, or the date of the decision of the Court of Appeals. In its decision, dated October 30, 2009, the National Labor Relations Commission directed the Office of the Labor Arbiter to compute the back wages and separation pay of Moreno, Francisco, and Elmo from the date they were illegally dismissed up to the finality of the Supreme Court's decision on November 25, 2008, including therein the mandated CBA salary increases. The Court of Appeals nullified the NLRC decision and ordered the reinstatement of the NLRC's earlier decision dated August 30, 2002 and relevant writ of execution dated March 16, 2009. For the Court of Appeals, the computation of the NLRC in its earlier decision became final and executory after the lapse of 10 days from the parties' receipt thereof. The Court of Appeals added that the finality of this computation was not affected by the subsequent proceedings held before it and the Supreme Court, and that the delayed enforcement of the NLRC decision dated August 30, 2002 was not only attributable to Lepanto but also to Moreno, Francisco, and Elmo, who themselves appealed the case up to the Supreme Court. Moreno, Francisco, and Elmo thus elevated their case to the Supreme Court, asserting that the computation of their back wages and separation pay should be reckoned from the date they were illegally dismissed until the finality of the Supreme Court's decision on November 25, 2008. They further asserted that the computation should include the salary increases granted under the CBA. The issues before the Supreme Court refer to the correct formula for computing the award of separation pay and back wages to Moreno, Francisco, and Elmo, and whether the awards should include salary increases granted by the CBA. The Supreme Court ruled that the awards of separation pay and back wages for illegally dismissed employees should be computed from the time they were illegally dismissed until the finality of the decision ordering the payment of their separation pay in lieu of reinstatement. As to what exactly these awards ought to include, the Court categorized its previous rulings as follows. The first category delves into the non-inclusion of salary increases and benefits, which are contingent on the fulfillment of certain conditions, such as merit increases based on performance, the company's fiscal position, or management's benevolent initiative. According to the court, the ruling in these cases denied the inclusion of contingent salary increases in the computation of back wages for being mere expectancies. On the other hand, the second category delves into guaranteed salary increases and benefits, which are granted by law, standard company policy, or collective bargaining agreement. However, the court noted that those cases falling in the second category had opposing dispositions. For rulings that included salary increases and benefits, illegally dismissed employees were held to be entitled to back wages, taking into account the increases and other benefits that were received by co-employees who were not dismissed. According to the court, it is the employer's obligation to pay illegally dismissed employees the whole amount of the salaries or wages, plus all other benefits and bonuses and general increases to which they would have been normally entitled had they not been dismissed and had they not stopped working. For rulings that excluded guaranteed salary increases and benefits, the base figure used by the court in reckoning full back wages was the salary rate of the employees at the time of their dismissal. The amount did not include the increases or benefits granted during the period of their dismissal because time stood still for them at the precise moment of their termination and moved forward only upon their reinstatement. Hence, the employee should only receive back wages that included the amounts being received by them at the time of their legal dismissal, but not the benefits granted to their co-employees after such dismissal. Acknowledging its contradicting rulings in the award of back wages or separation pay owing to illegally dismissed employees and the consequent instability caused to labor law jurisprudence, the court laid down the following rule to settle the matter. The award of back wages and/or separation pay due to illegally dismissed employees shall include all salary increases and benefits granted under the law and other government issuances, collective bargaining agreements, employment contracts, established company policies and practices, and analogous sources, which the employees would have been entitled to had they not been illegally dismissed. On the other hand, salary increases and other benefits which are contingent or dependent on variables such as an employee's merit increase based on performance or longevity or the company's financial status shall not be included in the award. The court noted that Article 294 of the Labor Code of the Philippines grants illegally dismissed employees the right to full back wages, inclusive of allowances and other benefits or their monetary equivalent computed from the time their compensation was withheld up to the time of their actual reinstatement. Furthermore, the court equally noted that there is no provision in the Labor Code of the Philippines which mandates the exclusion of salary increases and benefits accruing to the dismissed employee. In this regard, the court explained that the overarching purpose of the reliefs granted by law to illegally dismissed employees is to make the latter whole again. For the court, it should ensure that illegally dismissed employees are whole again by awarding them the benefits to which they would have been entitled if not for the illegal termination of their employment. The court stated that the ruling that the employee's illegal dismissal literally allowed time to stand still for them because of their loss of employment and the resulting uncertainties from such an unfortunate event does not sanction additionally punishing them for an act they have not been responsible for. They, in fact, must be accorded justice and relief. The court thus ordered Lepanto to pay Moreno, Francisco, and Elmo back wages and separation pay based on their salary rates at the time of their termination, inclusive of guaranteed salary increases and other benefits and bonuses, which they were entitled to receive under the law and other government issuances, collective bargaining agreements, employment contracts, established company policies and practices, and analogous sources had they not been illegally dismissed. The award was computed from September 22, 2000, when they were illegally dismissed, up to November 25, 2008, when the Supreme Court's decision dated August 13, 2008 became final and executory. The court added that the award shall exclude salary increases and other benefits or bonuses which are contingent or dependent on variables such as an employee's merit increase based on performance or longevity or the company's financial status.